I think we just have heard very interesting stuff from a variety of partners coming from a variety of even countries with different customers. And one single thing that was quite exciting, at least for me, and I hope hopefully for you as well, was that they all agree on one single thing, is that we are today the single best office suite that they could go with. And then they stay because of the relationship. And I think this is just getting better. Because yes, we have heard, not my words, their words, that we are great at stability, we are great at integrating, no matter if you go with white label or if you want your own brand, and we are in the same room with you discussing and go through design. Speaking of, I think that's the presentation we are doing, yeah? So I think that needs to be, that story needs to be pretty as well. And with me, I have Ivana Koron. So hopefully we can all applaud, please. Newcomer to the design team.
Hello.
Me, Ivana, Banove, and maybe someone else. I think Skylar was also mentioned as part of mobile team. So we are very happy to be here and hopefully making history together, yeah? Go ahead.
Okay, so me and Pedro today, we will present to you what we have been working in the past year and some of the new things that we are planning to work on. So, as you all know, we have different tools for different tasks, and our main goal is that we are there with you, whichever task you're doing, and basically to make your life easier. So how do we make your life easier, hopefully, is with some of the features. And the first feature I want to present is contextual tabs. And this feature actually appears when you need it and disappears when you don't need it. So the real example is that when you select an image, a new contextual tab appears, and that is the picture tab. And you can have all of the features that are needed when you like trying to do something with the image. So maybe, let's say, change the brightness, change the contrast, and so on. And the same feature is like activated when you select a table. And the same situation or behavior happens also with context toolbar. This is another feature that appears and disappears when you need it, but in a different way. So this feature appears when you select in a text. Why? Because we wanted to introduce some things that are really important while formatting the text. For example, these are very important things when you are trying to formatting. So if you try to do the bold text, it's nice to have a thing there. So when you select, there is also a bold feature to apply. So yeah, these are two features that appear and disappear, and this is the behavior that we are trying to follow.
Exactly. So it's quite nice to have clean structure, so the user can even navigate, browse wherever the task might be that formatting, or be that just searching, scanning through the interface and just find the right action, the right button. But it's also quite powerful to just give the ability to search things, right? So, and we are just starting. So we do have a navigation sidebar that allows you not only to search through the whole document, but also discover the structure of your document. Thus, the division between outline and results, and you can either browse or search within those. I said we are just scratching the surface because we'll be adding that also to other apps. For instance, there is, we have our presentations. We already have a nice navigation sidebar as well. Again, cohesive, consistent pattern here, where we have slides on one hand, and on the other hand, we have structure, but we do not have search, so we need to work on that. So we are taking your feedback, and we are iterating with that. Let's keep a pin on that, because that is not just restrictive to this navigation sidebar. You will see there will be a common pattern, not only within this sidebar, not only in the tabbed view, but also bleeding to the compact view. And that's where the things can get very exciting. So please remember that. I will try to remember myself when we go later to that slide. Hopefully. Maybe there is no batteries. Yeah, thanks. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And since we are talking about search, an easy and a quick way to find solutions to your problems is not only to search within the structure, discover the document structure, but have little help to understand your document and how you could improve your document. And we are just doing that. We have a possibility to integrate with AI. The user can configure that via the settings. I think there will be one more talk where Rashesh goes through that. But the important bit here in this presentation is that not only we give the power to search and to find the answers, but we also have pre-canned prompts for the user that are dependent on the application you are using. So they are not the same for every application, and they are even dependent on your selection. So you can see here, using selected text right here. So this thing is not always here. It means that users have just selected a text, and now we are offering 5 easy way outs to improve that, how it could be improved even before the user needs to do this extra effort to decide what to do with the text. Now, that's all nice, good. It will be even better. This is a work in progress, but even more interesting, not only we are giving you the tools and all the contents, what is happening, what are your ways out, giving you and assuring you that you are under control at all times, and even if those times have passed and you simply just press something and you don't know, now you would like to go back, you can still see what is happening in the history because you can always see what have happened just by scrolling. But we take this sentence I've just said, you are in control, very seriously. So you saw at the bottom, and we all know about the EU AI Act, but even outside of that, it doesn't matter if you are in EU or not, it's important that the user knows where the content comes from, and if we can help to don't force users to read a whole block of text, to make sure that, okay, this is generated, there is a rating that we have just introduced, and this rating goes, of course, it's not just dependent on color coding, it's there for easy readability, but of course it will be readable by screen reader, and this AI rating, again, I implore you to go to the Rashesh talk, but the nice takeaway here is that this is based on how the training data is, the license of the AI model, and that's the missing bit, if it's self-hosted or not, and that's the third thing we want to tackle. Yeah? So don't miss Rashesh's talk. That's very important, yeah? Next, please.
Okay, another way how we are trying to improve our product is also to create a better structure. And how do we do that? So how do we apply good hierarchy to the product? Is that we actually group things together. So similar things, similar features, similar meaning, they go in one basket. And here are the examples of these groups. So we have paragraph, illustrations, characters, and so on. And this grouping appears throughout the whole product, not only the toolbar or the tabs, but also when you maybe right-click somewhere, there is many items, we need to group them because it's easier for user to understand, to digest. And one consequence of grouping things together is also that, yes, you are quicker with understanding the interface, but you also discover some new things. So for example, I don't know, let's say you're trying to find the search feature, and you see it, and you find it, but then you see this replace feature, and you're interested to know what this does. So you try to like open the feature, see what it does, and then you like discover it. And by grouping things together, we reduce memory effort. So one of the things that we will apply more is actually make more of these context toolbars, because as I explained before, they're there when you need them. So you click, you select, and then the things appear. And they will appear by like the most used things. So for example, when you try to edit the image, it's important that there is a brightness changer. Why? Because this is one of the most important features for the image. And it's not only that we try to do the interface better, the structure better in the interface, but also to give you to give you control. So you can apply, for example, you can use tooltips and give some of the like meaningful messages, annotations in your product. So yeah, this is another thing how we try.
Yeah, definitely. So exactly, we are not only taking the interface, but even the things you create within your document. So this is a clear example of an in-document tooltip. People that work with spreadsheets, they know what I'm talking about when you can create. So we are also revamping and improving design even in these small details. So everything looks clean and cohesive. I think we can go next. And hopefully now you can hear me better. I see that I was too near to the microphone, or maybe I'm too near to the speaker. I think that's the problem. So just wave if I'm too loud or too silent. Good. What's next? That's the exciting bit. Now we don't have time. No, I'm joking. Okay, what's next? So we have talked about contextualized little helpers that appear when you want, and they get out of the way so you can work on your document when you don't need them. This is true. And you have seen our focus on notebook bar view, basically tab-driven navigation. But we want to take this to the next step, not only in the notebook bar view, but in the compact view. The compact view, so the classic menu-driven. We want to make that a bit lighter, cleaner, and have icons in the menus. Not only that, make the main... next, please. This doesn't work. Yes. Not only redesign some of the icons that we actually have done, make it easier to get the information you need. Shorter amount of space occupied by the interface, so there's more space for the content. But also, you remember when I said it's really good to give the power to the user so he can search within the structure of the document, discover the document structure. We want to take this further and make easy to search every single button, no matter where it's located, just by pressing this little search icon, and you can search wherever you want, enter, and you just trigger that action. Yeah, so that's in the plans. So hopefully we can count with your feedback to improve and to path the way to greatness. Next, please. Yes, this one is nice.
And another way, like we try to improve experience, is also to create better experience for the Impress, not only for the documents. So we were trying to think how we can improve the presentation experience. So right now, presentation is happening, and what do? We speak, but not only with our voices, but also with our bodies. So for example, if I try to point out something really important, I do it with my hand, Pedro is doing with this pointer. So we are trying to think of the ways how to do this in-person experience on a different medium. And that's actually to have a cursors on the presentation. And we think that a lot of situations happens that you're trying to explain where you're looking at, and then you just like, you would need a cursor, and it will be easier to you to explain.
Exactly.
And another way is also a pen. So, for example, you're a teacher, you're teaching, and you're using a pen to write on a board. What to do when you're online? You have a pen, actually. And yeah, there are many ways we want to improve the presentations, so keep an eye on that.
Yes, yes. I think exciting things are coming.
Yeah.
You need to, be very attentive what is happening. Good, design reviews, of course. So, in the previous panel, we have heard about customer journeys. These are quite important, of course. We are designers. We all know about user journeys, but they are very important customer journeys, and they are intertwined, linked. So, the way to reach insightful conclusions is not only to keep track of your sport tickets, understand what it could be better, but then cross that information with end users. And those end users, sometimes we snatch out of you. We ask, hey, can we have an interview with your user? We will just run some analysis, we'll run some tests, and it's beautiful. But we also do this continuously with our community and with the public. Yes, so, and we do that not only to keep tracking of issues, but having weekly meetings. Every week, Thursday, one of our meetings is UX-centric, and we just go through what everyone is doing. If anyone wants to contribute, what's the next task, and more often than not, we try to improve old user journeys by targeting what it can be much better. Next, please. Yes, and here are the issues. So not only we keep track of the issues, but we create. You can find some of these are public, as you can see. We do design reviews per component, where we go through how that component is used and how it can be improved. You can search on GitHub. Next, please. I think we are short on time. Yeah, but the previous panel was so intriguing and interesting that I think it's quite worth it. And we don't stop here. So we have, I think Michael has mentioned yesterday in one of his many intriguing and interesting speeches. And if you were yesterday there, you know it. So we do have these very technical logging UI CMDs. So if you are integrator or a sysadmin, you know what I'm talking. But summarized is a way to give you control and allow you to toggle that on in your server and have, without any effort, anonymized metrics. That's it. In one short sentence, that's it. Now, the intriguing part. We do this in our demo servers. We have a demo server per continent. So we have a lot of data. Yeah? That demo server, we can start to see interesting things that reassure us the direction we have been taking. You can see that one of the things that has been triggered with a high frequency is the hiding a sidebar, and then hiding a sidebar, and then followed by an undo. It's very interesting because it again reassures this direction that we have been taking, that we are still the sidebar, but we are moving the critical path of navigation away from the sidebar. Yeah, be that via contextual things that appear and disappear, but also there up top. There's other things, but I think we don't have enough time. Next, please. And of course, we eat our own food. So we do that in our own internal server where all employees use, and we see, and then we can compare this with the public demos, and we can start to see, and I think I will not have enough time, but you can start to see. Delete row is one of the top things that is quite used right before pressing undo. So, and I don't have time, but we might be near to not redefining, but improving how spreadsheets work and how you can resize rows and how you can change row position. Good. Next, please. So thank you very much. Hopefully I was not too boring or too fast that we couldn't catch a breath. Thank you, Ivana.